Alright, you awesome camera geeks. Sam from CameraLegend.com, and we are back today. And today I got a new series for you guys. It's 3 for 3. And that is, I'm going to give you 3 pros and 3 cons for a particular camera. And the first camera we got today is an iconic Leica digital camera, and that camera is the Leica M8. Now, some of you guys, most of you guys would probably know this camera, and if you don't have one and you're looking for one, today is your day, because I'm gonna be giving you pros and cons as well as extra tidbits that you might want to know about this camera. But first, let's take a quick look at the beauty of the Leica M8. The M8 is the very first Leica digital rangefinder introduced in the year 2006. The M8 features a 10 megapixel APS-H sensor with a crop factor of 1.3. The Leica M8 is at this moment the most affordable Leica digital rangefinder. Even though the positive was that it was the most affordable Leica digital rangefinder, the negative is that it is also the oldest Leica digital rangefinder. So coming up now, it's going to be 2021 soon. This camera is 14, nearly 15 years old on the market. That is ancient. Anybody who knows digital cameras knows that even a few years is ancient. But the Leica M8 is something special, I would say, because it's a digital rangefinder, and there's not many of those. Okay, but anyway, it is very old in today's world, and you know, I don't know if Leica is still working on these. I believe that they may do some modification work if you want something done, but if the sensor was to go out, I don't think they have any more to replace for you. So you are taking a bit of a gamble if you're gonna buy one of these cameras, so keep that in mind. I would say that Leica M8 gives images with presence, because it sometimes with the right lenses, it just seems to pop off at you. The Leica M8 does really beautiful color images. You just have to keep in mind about the potential problem with color cast. With the right lenses, it just seems to pop off at you. And a lot has to do with the fact that the camera doesn't have the AA filter, which back then was a big deal, because a lot of people would complain that, you know, the filter was needed because you would get this moire pattern, like maybe on something like this, or if you were shooting fashion. But if you notice the trend in the past few years, a lot of manufacturers started getting rid of it, like the Nikon D800E is one I can think of. Pentax K5 2S, something like that. I don't know. But a lot of manufacturers started getting rid of the AA filter because they realized that the extra sharpness was valued over the very small chance of getting that, you know, moire. All right, so the number 2 con that I say for the Leica M8 is it is not a very accurate color camera. Now, if you want something for accuracy in color, you're better off with another camera, another Leica or any other camera, because the Leica M8 is actually very near infrared as far as the sensor goes. And so a lot of times what you will see is if you're photographing stuff, let's say somebody's wearing black pants or a black dress, it's going to come out maybe brown or purple. And I've encountered that. I mean, under most conditions, the colors look fine to me. Even if they were inaccurate, they were not objectionable. But, you know, I have done weddings and engagements with it, and if there was ever a problem, I would just convert those files to black and white, because this camera makes a great black and white camera. But that said, I always had another camera or two with me that could do color better, so that was never an issue for me. But anyway, if you are looking for the most accurate colors, if you need a camera specifically that does accurate, super accurate colors, then this is not the camera for you. Although I will say the Leica M8 does really beautiful color images. You just have to keep in mind about the potential problem with color cast, especially for those darker colors. And Leica recognized this very early on, so they offered the infrared cut filters for these cameras, but it's not a cure-all, so keep that in mind. So that's another con. Okay, and number three, there are a lot more reasons, but for me, this camera in monochrome mode can give you these really beautiful monochrome black and white images, which that's why this camera has been labeled the poor man's Leica monochrome. Alright, so the con to this, well, actually there really is no con to a camera that can do beautiful black and white, now is there? But if you needed something, I would say the con to this is, because the Leica M8 does beautiful black and white and color work because of the CCD sensor, the con to this is that the CCD sensor itself is actually very limited. And I'm not just talking about the Leica M8, but I'm talking about most cameras with CCD sensors. That's the reason. That's probably the main reason why they were phased out, is simply for the fact that CCD sensors do not do very well with high ISO images. So for me, I've used M8 up to 1250, 1600 is pushing it, but you're not gonna get ISO 50,000 or 100,000, anything like that. But I never felt like I needed that. I mean, you know, coming from an old school mentality where I mostly use ISO 400 film, so for me it's fine. But if you are a frequent user of ultra high ISOs, this is probably not the camera for you. And while the Leica M8 is unique in that it offers a rangefinder experience, and it also offers you know, entry into the beautiful world of Leica M lenses, and you know, all the other lenses that come along with that, the Russian lenses, character lenses, you know. The point is kind of moot in today's world, because you have cameras like the Sony mirrorless cameras or a whole bunch of other mirrorless cameras that can adapt these lenses. You can use these lenses on the Sony full frame mirrorless cameras, or even on the APS-C mirrorless cameras. So basically, you're really only wanting this camera for the rangefinder experience and perhaps all the mythical stuff that you've heard about the image quality. And a lot of it is true, but a lot of it is myth. I mean, people, I say I'm kind of guilty of that too. I'm one of those guys that always looks at the older stuff and think it was kind of better. But in truth of the matter is, you get a 24 megapixel Sony or 30 megapixel EOS R, something like that, you're probably going to get a lot better image quality, really. So basically, the main thing that it really would have, the main thing that the M8 really would have over those cameras is the rangefinder experience, which you can't really emulate. And just for your knowledge, the Leica M8 may be the very first Leica M digital rangefinder, but it was actually not the very first digital rangefinder. The very first digital rangefinder is actually the Epson RD1, which stay tuned because I'll have an episode on that too. Now, I must say that I've had this camera for 10 years, since 2010, and to my surprise, it has been one of the more reliable cameras that I've had, right? Like, look at the Contax N Digital that I posted on the last video. How long did that last? 5 months. And I was truly surprised because, you know, when I first got the camera, yes, it feels nicely built and everything, but I just thought it was kind of fragile, but it really wasn't. It actually lasted all that time, still works. I took it around the world. Anytime that I ever had any issues with it, it was really battery related. So that's one of the great things that I found about the M8 through experience, is that it's a very reliable camera, as far as I'm concerned. Now, if you bought one and it breaks on you, don't blame me, okay? Now, unlike the M9, which was pretty much the Leica M to get up until people started reporting the sensor corrosion issues, the M8 does not seem to suffer from that problem. So that's one of the great things about the Leica M8. It didn't seem to suffer from the sensor corrosion that plagued the Leica M9 and the original Leica monochrome, which was based off the M9. All right, so lastly, is the Leica M8 worth it in today's world? Okay, I'm just going to give you my personal opinion, okay? So we looked at the pros, we looked at the cons. My personal opinion is, if you want to jump into a digital rangefinder and you know what you're looking for, I definitely say it's worth it. It's been a very reliable camera. It's taken some of my favorite images, and it's fun to use. I mean, it's really a great camera to carry around, get that rangefinder experience. Just takes really nice pictures that that sometimes would make you think that it's more than 10 megapixels, but it really is 10 megapixels, because, as I said, maybe without the AA filter, takes these beautiful sharp images. So if you're gonna buy one, make sure that you buy it from a reliable dealer, okay? Like, let's say KEH or Use Photo Pro, any B&H, Adorama, any of these dealers that will offer you some kind of warranty in case something goes wrong. I don't think it's a bad deal. I mean, if you go that route, I don't think you'd have anything to worry about. Okay, just make sure that it's performing well and there are no issues, all right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and don't forget, if you have an M8 and you want to say something about it, don't forget to comment and like and subscribe for more camera legends coming your way. And as I said, there are plenty more coming your way. If only I wasn't so lazy. But anyway, man, I'm just doing whatever I can to get it out there for you guys. And I appreciate you guys, and I will catch you guys next time on thecameralegend.com. And this one is gonna be for you, babe.
YouTube. Cameralegend.com.